I let my old friend crash at my place. Then I found out who he really was. You ever get that sick feeling in your gut when you realize you've made a huge mistake? Yeah, that was me, standing in my own living room, heart pounding, palms sweating, staring at the man I used to call my best friend. The same man who had just smiled at me like nothing was wrong, like everything wasn't about to come crashing down. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. Because this story, it doesn't begin with betrayal. It begins with a knock on my door at 11:47 p.m. It was a Thursday night, just a regular, quiet night. I just gotten back from work, reheated some leftover pasta, and was about to pass out on a couch watching a mindless documentary. I wasn't expecting visitors, so when I heard the knock, I jumped a little. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity got the best of me. And there he was, Derrick. Same cocky grin, same leather jacket he'd worn since college. He looked like he hadn't aged a day, just a little more tired around the eyes. We hadn't talked in, what, 5 years? Maybe 6? Hey, man, he said like we'd spoken yesterday. You got a couch? Let me pause for a second. Derrick and I were tight back in the day. We met freshman year at State. Same dorm, same classes. He was the wild one. Always had a new scheme, always chasing some crazy idea. Me? I was the grounded one, the planner. Somehow we balanced each other out. We used to talk about making it big together. Starting a business, building something real. But after college, things just fell apart. He took off to God knows where. I stayed behind, got a job, tried to build something stable. I hadn't heard from him since 2019. So yeah, seeing him at my door out of nowhere. That alone would have been enough to raise some red flags. But the look in his eyes, like he was running from something, that's what really got me. I let him in. What happened? I asked as he threw his duffel bag on the floor and flopped onto the couch like it was still his. He shrugged. Things didn't pan out. Lost my job. Got evicted. Needed a place to crash. Thought of you. Just like that. Like it was nothing. I should have said no. I know that now. But back then, I was just caught off guard. It felt like an old piece of my past walking back in. And honestly, I missed having someone around. I lived alone in a one-bedroom apartment, worked long hours, barely saw friends. Having Derrick back felt familiar. So I let him stay. For a few days, it was like old times. We stayed up late, talked about college, argued about dumb stuff, laughed till we couldn't breathe. He even cooked dinner one night, burnt the chicken, but hey, it was the thought that counted. But by day 4, things started to feel off. It was little stuff at first. I noticed my cologne was half empty. Some loose change was missing from my nightstand. One morning, my laptop was open, even though I was sure I closed it the night before. I asked Derrick about it. He just laughed. You always were paranoid, man. Maybe I was. But something wasn't right. Then came the phone call. It was Saturday afternoon. I got out to grab groceries, left my phone charging on the kitchen counter. When I got back, Derrick was in the shower. My phone had one missed call. Unknown number. No big deal, right? Until I checked the voicemail. Hey, this is Detective Callahan from the 9th Precinct. We're trying to reach Derrick Vaughn regarding an open investigation. If you're with him or know where he is, please call us back immediately. I swear my blood turned to ice. I played it 3 times. Same message. Calm, measured, but direct. They weren't just trying to reconnect with an old friend. They were looking for him. And he was in my damn shower. That's when I started to panic. I paced back and forth, not knowing what to do. Do I confront him? Call the cops? What if he's dangerous? I told myself to wait. Just wait and see if he brings it up. He didn't. When he came out of the bathroom, towel around his neck, he acted normal. Sat on the couch, started scrolling through my Netflix like nothing happened. I watched him, studied his face. He noticed. What's up with you? I wanted to ask him straight up, what are the cops looking for you for? But I couldn't. Not yet. Nothing, I said. Just tired. That night, I didn't sleep. I locked my bedroom door, kept my phone under my pillow. At 3:12 a.m., I heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, quiet. Then a whisper. sh*t. Then the front door creaked open and closed. I didn't move for a full minute after the front door clicked shut. I just lay there in the dark, clutching my phone, heart thudding so hard I swore Derrick could hear it from outside. Where the hell was he going? What was he doing at 3 a.m.? The voicemail echoed in my head again. Detective Callahan, open investigation, contact immediately. I sat up, turned the bedside lamp, and stared at the door like it was going to open any second. My instincts were screaming. Every part of me wanted to bolt, but curiosity, it has a way of digging in deep. So I got up, crept out into the hallway, and peeked through the blinds. No car, no footsteps, just empty streetlight haze. But something was missing. His duffel bag. I barely slept that night. Every creak of the floorboards made me jump. Every shadow looked suspicious. By morning, I was a wreck. Derrick walked in at 6:38 a.m. like he'd just come back from the gym. Hair still damp. T-shirt inside out. He dropped his bag at the door and stretched like nothing was off. "Yo," he said casually. "You got any eggs?" I stared at him. "Where were you?" He looked at me, cool as ice. "Went for a walk. Couldn't sleep." That was it. No explanation. No apology. Just eggs. Something in me snapped. "You take your bag on walks now?" For a second, just a flicker, his face changed. His jaw clenched. But then he smiled again. "Didn't want anyone stealing my stuff. You think I'm shady now?" I didn't answer. I just walked past him, grabbed my coat, and left. I needed air. And answers. I sat in my car in the grocery store parking lot for 40 minutes before I did it. I called the number from the voicemail. The line rang once, twice. Then, Detective Callahan. I cleared my throat. "Hi, you left a message about Derrick Vaughn. He's been staying with me." There was silence on the other end. Then his voice sharpened. "When did he arrive at your residence?" 4 or 5 days ago. Don't do anything to alert him. I'm going to need your address." That's when my stomach dropped. What's going on? Is he dangerous? Another pause. Then, do not confront him. "I'm sending someone over to talk with you. Keep your phone close." He hung up before I could say another word. Now I was really shaking. I drove home like a zombie, mind racing. Was he a killer? A fugitive? Some kind of con artist? What had I let into my home? When I got back, Derrick was gone again. The bag was still by the door, but no sign of him. I texted him casually, "Hey, grab coffee." "You good?" Just to avoid suspicion. He didn't reply. The next hour dragged like a lifetime. Every second I thought he'd walk in and catch me pacing like a maniac. But someone else knocked first. 3 sharp knocks. Then, police. I opened the door and saw 2 detectives. One flashed a badge. "Detective Callahan," he said. "Mind if we come in?" I let them in. Gave them everything. How Derrick showed up out of nowhere. How he acted weird. The voicemail. The 3 a.m. exit. Everything. They listened carefully. Callahan took notes. The other, a woman named Detective Ramirez, started walking around the apartment, checking things, windows, doors, even the trash. "What's this about?" I asked again. "Is he in trouble?" Callahan looked at me. His face was tired, like he'd seen too much. "He's under investigation for multiple identity fraud cases. Bank fraud. Possibly something more serious. We're still gathering evidence." My mouth went dry. "He's dangerous. We don't know yet. But people like him, they don't just run unless they've got something to hide." They left an hour later. Told me to keep my phone on, not let Derrick know the cops had been there, and definitely not to let him back in if he left again. Simple, right? But of course, nothing is ever that simple. Because less than 2 hours after they left, Derrick came back, with a black eye and a busted lip. He looked like he'd been in a fight with a brick wall. He dropped his bag again, limped in, and muttered, "Don't ask." But I had to ask. "Jesus, Derrick, what happened?" He sat down on the floor like his legs couldn't hold him anymore. He winced. "Ran into some guys I used to know. Let's just say I owed them, and they weren't feeling patient." I stared at him. "What kind of guys?" He looked up at me, eyes bloodshot. The kind you don't talk about. There was a silence. Heavy, like all the air had been sucked out of the room. And then he said something that still gives me chills. You ever wonder what you'd do if you were in too deep? Like, way too deep. He didn't wait for an answer. He got up, dragged his bag into the guest room, closed the door, and locked it. That night, I didn't hear a single sound from that room. No snoring, no footsteps, nothing. But I couldn't sleep. Because while Derrick was in there, silent and bruised, my brain kept turning over one terrifying question. What was in the bag? I didn't sleep that night. Not a wink. I kept staring at that locked guest room door like it was a safe packed with secrets and maybe a bomb ticking down. Who was Derrick, really? And what was he hiding in that bag? By morning, I was on edge, pacing the apartment, trying to pretend I was just a normal guy sharing space with an old friend. But deep down, the worry was crushing me. Breakfast was silent. Derrick barely touched his coffee or the eggs I'd made. His eyes kept darting to the door, like he was waiting for it to explode open. Finally, I couldn't take it. I sat down across from him at the kitchen table. Look, man, you've been dodging every question I have. What's going on? He looked up, eyes tired, voice low. I'm stuck. Stuck how? What are you in? He hesitated and sighed. It's a mess. The kind you don't fix by just walking away. I pressed, Is this about the cops? He nodded slowly. Yeah, and worse. He told me a bit of the story, but not everything. Apparently, after college, Derrick got mixed up with some sketchy people, some loan sharks, some online scammers. He thought he could run his own game, make quick cash, but it spiraled fast. He said he tried to cut ties, but they don't let go that easy. Now they wanted payback, and they were coming for him. I could see the weight on his shoulders, the fear, but there was still so much he wasn't telling me. The next day, things got stranger. I noticed my phone was acting weird, random glitching, strange texts from unknown numbers. I checked the messages carefully. One read, Stop helping him or you're next. My stomach turned. I confronted Derrick. He looked surprised, then angry. Did you tell anyone? He demanded. No, I said, but someone knows you're here. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration flooding his face. We can't stay. Not here. I wanted to help, but honestly, I was scared. These weren't just petty criminals. These were dangerous people with serious power. That night, I caught him on the phone, whispering to someone, his voice cold. I'll have it by Friday. No mistakes. When he hung up, I asked, Who are you talking to? He didn't answer. Just gave me a look that said, Stay out of this. Friday came fast. Too fast. That afternoon, I was at work when I got a text. Look outside. Now, I stepped out and froze. There was Derrick, cornered by two men I didn't recognize. Their faces were hard, their posture threatening. They spotted me and waved. Not a friendly wave. I ran over, heart racing. What's going on? I asked. Derrick's jaw clenched. They want their money. The men pulled out a small package. Tell him the clock's ticking, one said. I wanted to say something smart, something heroic. But all I could do was nod. Because right then, I realized I was in way over my head. And Derrick's problems had become mine.